Hey guys! Okay, so first of all, I am sorry for the lighting. I know it's really bright, but it's just a really sunny day, so I didn't have a lot of options. This video is going to be kind of my comments and stuff about NAN. Thank you, Hannah's Ponies, for the recommendation. So, NAN deadline for this year is already over. You can't enter anymore for 2013, but there's always 2014. My first biggest tip for NAN is you want to save early. Even if you are just slightly thinking about going, like you aren't even totally sure, you want to be sure you start saving early, because NAN is going to be more expensive than your average show, especially if you have to get a hotel. But the show cost itself is a lot more expensive than what you'll be used to. Also, if you don't know what NAN is a show held once every year, and you have to have a currently NAN qualified model to participate. So NAN qualified models from all over the nation attend this show and battle it out for top 10 and reserve and champ of their divisions and classes. So it's not like a local show. It's not like you can just take all your horses. You have to have a current NAN card. And I say current because on the back of your NAN cards there will be dates, and those cards have to be at the year you're applying for, or you can't enter it. So you can't enter a 2005 card in 2014. It has to be a card that was in the last 4 years. That's the new rule. It used to only be 2, but now it's 4. So every other year, NAN is held in Kentucky. In 2012, it was held in Kentucky. So in 2013, it's not. And in 2014, it will be held in Kentucky. I have only been to one NAN, and I really enjoyed it. And I will probably go to NAN 2014 because Kentucky is driving distance for me. And these are just some of the things that I felt would be important for you to know if you're thinking about going to NAN or if you are going to NAN. So the first thing is fees. Fees are a lot more than a local show, and you will be paying a base fee, and then you will pay a per horse per class fee. The first thing to know is that you need to go ahead and sign up to be a NAN member. And that will cost you money, and you will think that, oh, I don't want to pay the extra. But as soon as you pay that, it applies right then and there to that current registration. And it will give you a discount on your fees. And really, the discount will save you a lot of money. For a non-member, I don't know how much the base fee is, but I know it's more expensive. For a non-member, you're going to pay $5 per horse per class. As a member, you will pay $3 per horse per class, and your base fee will be $35. I think that's what it was this year, so it's a lot lower. The per horse per class fee is what makes your entry fee start to get really expensive. Because if you want to enter one horse and breed and workmanship, that horse alone has an entry fee of $6, because it's going to be $3 for him to show in halter and $3 for him to show in workmanship. If you want to only enter a horse in breed, then it would be $3. So that fee is a lot to keep in mind, because that will build. Going on, you will get, when you sign up, you will see what is called the minimum guaranteed class list. That class list means that is the classes that NAN is guaranteeing that they will hold at the show. You want to be careful with this, because there will be splits, but you will not know about splits until later on, because they have to go through all the registering and see how many horses are in each class, and if there's a split even that can be done. So you won't know about those right away. So you really want to make sure you use that list and register correctly. If you don't know where a horse goes, NAN puts out each year what's called a a breed cross-reference list. You would go on that list, and if you're not sure where to put your breed, you would want to use that list to tell you where to put it. It'll break different breeds down into different sections like light, gaited, Spanish, ponies, European, things like that. It will break it down for you. And you really want to make sure to utilize this list, because if you don't utilize this list, then you might put your horse in the wrong class. And at NAN, there is no switching class. It's not like a last minute show where you can just change your tag and put them in a different class if you decide. You have to go on what you registered with. So make sure you are really careful with that. The other thing about the class list to be careful for is when you're registering for workmanship, you want to make sure you have your pinto patterns correct and your colors, because I do see a lot of splits in workmanship, and if there is a split, you want to make sure you have your pinto in the right pattern class, or it will not be judged and you will not be able to change it, and you'll just have to put it up there, and then when the judges see that it's the wrong pattern, they won't be able to talk to you. When they see it's the wrong pattern, they just won't be able to judge your horse. So never be embarrassed to ask about patterns. People do it every year, so there's no reason to be afraid to ask. Just ask to make sure you're getting them in the right place so that you can show them, because you're going to pay the entry fee, so you want to make sure they're going in the right place. The next thing that's hard at NAN is you don't make your own tags, and you won't get your tags beforehand. The registrar will make your tags for you, and they will be in your show packet, which you either pick up the day you're showing, or normally they have like a handout day a few days before NAN, or the day before NAN, or something like that, and you can go pick up your packet. Your tags will be in that packet. They're not mailed to you. So normally on show day, if you did not pick your packet up the day before, you are trying to put your tags on your horses. While that sounds simple, it's a little bit more difficult at NAN, because your tags do not contain the name of your horse at all on them. And I know that for a lot of people that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you only have an hour to get in there and get unpacked and get everything organized and to get your tags on your horses, it can be a bit stressful. So you want to make sure you kind of have a guide for you. Your horses get what's called a number, an ID number. You want to make sure you have that ID number and a little handmade list or Excel list or something that lets you know horse number blah 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 is this model and horse number blah 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 is this model. Something that you can quickly recognize that number to your horse, especially if you have a lot of quarter horse geldings and you have a lot of quarter horse stallions or a lot of paint horses that are mares. It's gonna get stressful. So you want to make sure you have all that organized and laid out for you, because most importantly, like I said, your horses, you will not be able to make your own tags. You cannot write on your tags. You cannot create your own tags. You cannot change classes. You have to go with what you registered, and you have to go with the tags you have. And if there is an issue with one of your tags, you have to go talk to the registrar. You absolutely cannot cross things out and write things on your own. So that is one important thing to remember that's very different about NAN. The other thing to talk about was someone mentioned horses. How do I know what horses to bring? How many should I bring? Do they even have a shot? Well, first of all, I did not show Original Finish last year. I didn't even go because NAN is a 3-day show, and Artist Residence did not show on the same day as Original Finish. So I can't really speak to you about how well they do they have a shot, because I don't know what models you're talking about, and I really don't know Original Finish. But what I can tell you is kind of how I picked from my resins who to take and who I didn't. I did not take all of my resins. And each year you're kind of going to have to decide, you know, who to take, and there's a lot of different ways you can do that. One thing is to decide how much money do you want to spend on your entry fee. If you only want to spend $100, then you're going to be limited to the amount of horses you can take. If you don't really care about how much you exactly spend, but you just want to spend it wisely, there's some things you can do. A lot of things I did last year were, first of all, I looked at how many horses had more than one NAN card. And if they had more than one NAN card, I pretty much knew that they were going, because I felt like they had proved to me that they could consistently place. So I knew that those horses were going. And then the horses who didn't have multiple NAN cards, who only had 1 or 2 cards, I really started to think about things like, you know, when they earned this 1 NAN card, do they go against some of my other models? Like, do they go against models I personally own that are also consistently placing above them? When they placed, were they the only horse in the class, and did they just get a NAN card because they were the only horse in the class? Consistently, do they not do well and they just did well, one, because of numbers? I really start to think about how horses with only 1 NAN card earn that NAN card. Do I feel like they truly do well, or did they get lucky? And I hate to say that because I know a bunch of people don't like to hear things like that, but we know sometimes that does happen. And I'm not talking about in big classes. I'm talking about sometimes when you have a horse who consistently doesn't place well, and then he ends up being the only horse in the class and he gets a NAN card. Do you really want to spend the $3 to enter them when they're about to go up against 20 plus other horses? Or do you not want to? So it just comes down to a personal preference of what's your criteria going to be for what you're entering. Are you going by how many NAN cards they've earned? Are you going by, are they your favorites and you really don't care how well they do? I had some horses last year who did only have 1 NAN card and they don't technically do too well sometimes, but because in my eyes they are a personal favorite, I still wanted to take them. So it really just comes down to a lot. I will say, you know, the biggest thing I see people trying to do is kind of like, what amount are you willing to spend on your entry fee, and then what horses are going to make the best use of that entry fee. That is one of the most common methods I see. Judging is different at NAN than it is at other shows that you're used to. You will have 3 judges judging 1 class. Each judge will place the horses on the table 1st through 10th. And not together, each judge will get their own little card and have their own results. And then you get points based on what placing you got under what judge. 1st place gets certain points, 2nd place getting certain points, and so forth. All those cards, the points will be added up for the horses who placed, and the horses with the most placings will get champ, the horse with the 2nd most placings will get reserve, and then the following 8 get top 10 ribbons. Now, if you get 1st or 2nd, champ/reserve, you also get a top 10 ribbon, but what I meant is champ and reserve will get a plaque with their ribbon, and horses that are 3rd through 10th will only get ribbons. The ribbons are a big deal, guys. You should not be disappointed if you only get a top 10 because it is so hard. I mean, really, you're going up against some tough stuff there, and it's so many horses, and it's so many gorgeous horses. So a top 10 is a big deal. There's other things about judging that are important point-wise, but I'm not going to get into that. The other thing I will say is that you cannot talk to these judges at the show. That is an absolute no. You cannot ask them questions. You cannot go up to them and ask for comments or why a horse didn't place. They're sequestered, which means they're blocked off so that you can't talk to them. If you have questions, you have to talk to one of the representatives that are out on the side, and they can help you, but you cannot talk to the judges themselves. NAN is a really fast pace too. Some people don't think it is. It's a lot faster than my local shows are because you have more than 1 ring loading at once. I think last year at one point we got to like 6 rings at once for artist residence going. And I mean, while the judging is slow, sure, that's not super fast, but you're constantly loading horses onto tables that are getting prepared so that as soon as those judges are done, they can move on to another class. And you're constantly having to remember to pick up horses. And you're also having to listen to see if you're called out in the top 10. And if so, do you get a ribbon or do you get a plaque? And what place were you called in? And it's a lot. So it's very fast. There is no lunch and there are no breaks. If you walk away from your table to get sandwiches or something like that and you don't have anyone with you, you are very likely to lose, or not lose, I'm sorry, you are very likely to miss a class. It's a very fast pace to me. It doesn't go slow. Like I said, there's no lunch, there's no breaks. It's just, you're there and you're showing and you're getting through. So being organized is key for this show. And I mean, that honestly, not being organized for me had made NAN so stressful. You need to have the class list there that they supply you, and checking off what you have horses in, what you don't, what's done, what's not, because it's gonna get crazy, it's gonna get hectic, and just being organized helps so much. NAN is a really great experience. If you get the chance to go, I definitely would recommend it. It's fun, you get to meet a lot of different people, and you get to see a ton of different horses that you're not used to seeing. I hope this answered some questions about NAN. I wasn't exactly sure what you needed to know. So if I missed anything or you still have questions, then just leave a comment below and I will try to answer them. And again, like I always say, if there's a bunch of questions, then I will try to make another video. But overall, that is some of my big things that I feel are best to know about NAN and that can really help you have a successful NAN. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.